Todd, church is starting, man.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't think we were having church on Christmas. What's going on? Oh,
We're recording, man.
we're filming. Guys, I'm not ready yet. You know what? Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, this is way better. Morning, church. Merry Christmas. Listen, I wanted to spend a moment today reading a story from you from a famous Christian author by the name of Max Lucado. Max has a way of saying words that I think would be great for us to engage. Listen to this story called Just a Moment. It all happened in a moment, a most remarkable moment. As moments go, this one appeared no different than any other. If you could somehow pick it up off a timeline and examine it, it would look exactly like the ones that have passed while you read these words. It came and it went. It was preceded and succeeded by others just like it. It was one of the countless moments that have marked time since eternity became measurable. But in reality, that particular moment was like none other. For through that segment of time, a particular thing occurred. God became man. And while the creatures of earth walked unaware, divinity arrived. Heaven opened herself and placed her most precious one in a human womb. The omnipotent, in one instant, made himself breakable. He who had been spirit became pierceable. He who was larger than the universe became an embryo, and he who sustains the world with a word chose to be dependent upon the nourishment of a young girl. God is a fetus, holiness sleeping in a womb, the creator of life being created. God was given eyebrows, elbows, 2 kidneys, and a spleen. He stretched against the walls and floated in the embryonic fluids of his mother. God had come near. He came not a flash of light or an unapproachable conqueror, but as one whose first cries were heard by a peasant girl and a sleepy carpenter. The hands that first held him were unmanicured, calloused, and dirty. No silk, no ivory, no hype, no party, no hoopla. Were it not for the shepherds, there would have been no reception. And were it not for a group of stargazers, there would have been no gifts. Angels watched as Mary changed God's diaper. The universe watched with a wonder as the Almighty learned to walk. Children played in the street with him. And had the synagogue leader in Nazareth known who he was listening to, his sermons, well, Jesus may have had pimples. He may have been tone deaf. Perhaps a girl down the street had a crush on him or vice versa. It could have been that his knees were bony. One thing's for sure. He was, while completely divine, completely human. For 33 years, he would feel everything you and I ever felt. He felt weak. He grew weary. He was afraid of failure. He was susceptible to wooing women. He got colds, burped, and had body odor. His feelings got hurt. His feet got tired. His head ached. To think Jesus in such a light is, well, almost irreverent. Doesn't it feel that way? It's not something we like to do. It's uncomfortable. It is much easier to keep the humanity out of the incarnation. Clean the manure from around the manger. Wipe the sweat out of his eyes. Pretend he never snored or blew his nose or hit his thumb with a hammer. It's easy to stomach that way. There is something about keeping him divine that keeps him distant, packaged, predictable. But don't do it. For heaven's sake, don't. Let him be as human as he intended to be. Let him into the mire and the muck of our world. For only if we let him in can he pull us out. Listen to him. Love your neighbor was spoken by a man whose neighbor tried to kill him. The challenge to leave family for the gospel was issued by one who kissed his mother goodbye at the doorway. Pray for those who persecute you came from the lips that would soon be begging God to forgive his murderers. I am always with you are the words of a God who in one instant did the impossible to make it all possible for you and me. It all happened in a moment. In one moment, a most remarkable moments, the Word became flesh. There will be another. The world will see another instantaneous transformation. You see, in becoming man, God made it possible for man to see God. When Jesus went home, he left the back door open, and as a result, we will all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. The first moment of transformation went unnoticed by the world, but you can bet your sweet September that the second one won't. The next time you use the phrase, "in just a moment," remember, that's all the time it will take to change this world. Most likely you have heard the ancient story about how a young couple, Mary and Joseph, had to travel to his hometown to fulfill the laws of a census in the Roman Empire. The Bible tells us the following from the book of Matthew. While they were there, a time came for her to give birth. She gave birth to a son, her firstborn. She wrapped him in a blanket and laid him in a manger. Like what was already presented, the birth of God is not a great feat for the elite. It is presented as a gift to all. God became man, and that's where we learned his title, Emmanuel, because that word means God with us. And indeed he is. Mercer Creek, friends, family, as you celebrate Christmas, as you give and receive gifts, as you feast and enjoy family and friends, remember, the greatest gift ever came as a baby in a lowly barn. God humbled himself so that we could have access to him. And may that truth permeate your holidays and shape how you see both God and man. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas indeed.